Honey, we have some bad news.
What? What happened? Are you and Dad okay?
Yes, we're fine. But it's your grandpa, honey. He passed away last night.
What? How? Was he sick?
No, they think it was just old age. He passed away peacefully in his sleep.
Oh my God. I only saw him last week. We read our favorite books together. How can he be gone?
I'm sorry, Harris. You know he loved you very much.
I loved him too. He was literally like a best friend to me. I guess I'm glad he went peacefully. I just wish he got to see me go to college, meet the woman of my dreams, and all of that. He just went so suddenly. I think I'm in a bit of shock.
I know, sweetie. Everything will be okay. Your father and I are going over to the estate to begin picking through things.
What? What do you mean by picking through things?
Well, he did have a lot of valuables. It would be a shame to let them go to waste, or to let the rest of our family go through them before we do. I mean, we did live the closest, so that gives us the advantage of time.
So you're going to what? Take them? He literally just passed away last night.
Honey, seriously? He was an old man. We knew that this was coming. We had time to mentally prepare for it, which we did. Stop making it sound like your father and I are bad people.
I don't think good people would pick through and try to find the most valuable thing after learning a well-off family member passed. He was your dad, Mom.
Oh, stop it. You're barely an adult. You don't get to judge how we grieve. Besides, we're not just going for the valuables. We also need to track down his will. He owns our house, you know, and I know the family will be interested in finding out where his money is going.
My God, is that all you care about? His money? What about his funeral arrangements? Has anyone even begun thinking about that?
Don't be silly. We'll just bury him. It's simple.
Is that all he meant to you?
Hey, he was my dad. You don't get to judge how I react to his passing.
That's the problem. You aren't reacting. You know what? Both Grandpa and I knew about how greedy you and the rest of the family were. I just hoped that when it really came down to it, you would be better. I guess I was wrong. You go ahead to the estate and look for whatever. I'll phone the lawyer and start making his funeral arrangements.
Great. That's a load off of our shoulders. Thanks, son. Your dad and I will be busy for the next day or so. Also, if the lawyer has the will, let us know ASAP. We kind of have a bet going as to how much he has left for us. We can count on the house being ours, but we're excited about the cash.
I can't believe you.
Just think about it like Grandpa paid for our next family vacation.
Grandpa was right about you. You know that's why I spent so much time with him? Because your greed and lack of decency are hard to live with. I thought that I was just overreacting as a kid when I would cry myself to sleep because in your eyes, I wasn't a worthy investment. What kind of parent looks at their kid like an investment? Look at their kid and only see their potential to earn money. But when I grew up and started talking to Grandpa about it, he was always understanding and didn't disregard my feelings like you have done my entire life. Grandpa was my real family.
Oh, that's enough. Quit being dramatic. It's unbecoming. And the only reason why I said you weren't a worthy investment was that you weren't the genius at school we hoped for. You began reading at such a young age that we were convinced you were the next Einstein. Just imagine all the press, the money for the businesses and inventions you'd build, but then it turns out you were just average. After all the hard work of putting you in the best preschools and elementary schools, you were just average. How do you think that made us feel? I bet you haven't even considered our feelings in this.
Because you don't have any feelings.
That's enough, son. Your father and I are going to go see what we can pick out for ourselves before the lawyers and estate people show up.
Okay, I'm done talking with you. You're actually unbelievable. I can't believe I came from you both. I'm going to go mourn my grandfather and prepare for his funeral. One adult around here should act like it. Hey, son, are you home? No, I'm still with the lawyer. Why? Oh, make sure that he doesn't read the will until we're with you. I assume he has it since we couldn't find it at the house, and we basically tore that place apart looking for it. Anyways, we'd love your help moving some things into the house, but since you're not here, we'll just leave it for you to do. We're going to head back in the second vehicle and do another round. What? You just wanted me as a pack mule? Not even to apologize for how horrible you and Mom are? Come on, son. We're trying our best and grieving in our own way. It's not like Grandpa wouldn't want us to have these things. They're very valuable. Actually, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want you two to have them. That's probably the last place he'd want those items to go. Well, you didn't know him as we did. Honestly, so what? You spend a couple of days a week with Grandpa and suddenly you're some expert on what he would want to do after he dies? Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Now hurry home and unload the first car. We don't want anyone to see us. Because it's illegal? No, because then they may tell your aunties and uncles what they saw. Also, you better not tell them lawyers what we're doing, or we'll disown you quicker than you can say disappointment. The only disappointment here is you. It's because I spent so much time with Grandpa that I know him better than both of you did. Don't kid yourself. You never tried to get to know him besides how his business and estate were doing. You've only cared about his money, and he knew that. We talked about it before, you know. What he wanted to do with his things. You did? What did he say? How much is he leaving with us? Please tell me it's at least 6 figures. God, no, he didn't tell me that. You can't even try to hide how insatiable you are for money, can't you? No, he told me where he wanted his belongings to go. We looked at charities all over and picked out a few who would do good by auctioning off his things and making some money for the charity. That's where all of Grandpa's things were meant to go. He didn't tell his lawyer that, did he? I don't know if he got the chance. I'm still waiting for the lawyer. He'll be out to speak with me soon. He's just gathering everything. Okay, make sure that he doesn't tell you one thing before we get there. Fine. When will you be here then? We'll just quickly go and pick up a few more things and then head to the lawyer's office. And if you didn't think I was serious, I am. We will disown you forever if you breathe one word of this to the lawyer. You don't think the estate people are going to notice when the house looks like it's been ransacked? It doesn't matter if they can tell. It's not like they can prove it, can they? What if I spoke as a witness? Oh, the word of some distraught teenager isn't going to hold up in court. Grow up. Besides, I know you wouldn't turn your back on the family like that, no matter what you say. Especially if you cared at all about your grandpa and his family values or whatever. I can't believe you're my parents. You're no better than thieves and con men. And what's worse, you don't even need to behave like this. It's not like we aren't well off. Also, I'm not a teenager. I'm 23. You don't get to judge us, and your grandpa is an entirely different league than us. If we got even a bit of his wealth, we'd be set for the rest of our lives. And you must be a bigger disappointment than I thought if you're 23 and still living at home with us. You barely notice my presence as is. Besides, I came back from college to stay close to Grandpa. I was helping him with stuff. What kind of stuff? Nothing that concerns you, since it had nothing to do with money. You're right there. Very well. Your mother and I will be there within the hour. Again, make sure that the lawyer doesn't tell you anything until we get there. We need to make sure you're not trying to pull a fast one on us. Unbelievable. Fine. Just get here as quickly as you can.
Hi, my very best son, my shining star. I've made us some breakfast. You know, since yesterday was so emotional and we said a lot of things we didn't mean.
No.
What?
I'm not giving you any money.
Well, that's not what I wanted anyways. I just wanted to speak with my darling boy. It's been so long since we properly caught up. We need to talk about your schooling and dating life and what you've been up to lately.
Finished school, no dating life, and I've been arranging my grandfather's funeral lately.
Don't be like that. Talk to me, son. Why can't you just talk to me?
Because you don't actually want to talk to me.
What? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? You're my only child, and I love you dearly. And I know that you're taking Grandpa's death pretty hard. I wouldn't blame you. You both were so close.
You didn't seem to care about me or my feelings yesterday. Heck, you didn't seem to care that you just lost your dad yesterday. No, the first thing you did was scavenge his house looking for what you thought was the most valuable.
What I thought was most valuable? Do you know anything else? Is there something even more valuable in his house?
God, see? You can't even keep up this act for more than 5 minutes.
I think you're being really unfair. However, you're absolutely right.
I am.
Yes, I lost my father yesterday, son. I know I didn't react the best way, but that's only because of how much I'm grieving. Grief does strange things to a person and makes them do irrational things. I hope that you can forgive me. I really want us to build up our relationship again. I don't know how it happened, but suddenly we're not as close as we were when you were young. Maybe if you just made a little effort to try and understand me and why I might have done the things that I did, you wouldn't hate me so much.
Really?
Yes, really. I want to get to know you.
No, I mean, really? You're blaming me for the state of our relationship? Not anything you've done or how selfish you've been? I can't believe it.
Well, you should try walking in my shoes. What other conclusion would you come to if your son suddenly became some rancid stranger who judged your every move? You would probably think he was not understanding. You honestly might think he was being a bit of a prick.
Wow, Mom. Tell me how you really feel.
I have.
Never mind. Just drop the act, okay? I know what this is really about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's because of what the lawyer told us yesterday, isn't it?
Okay, I won't lie to you. It was surprising to hear. How else was I supposed to react?
Maybe not screaming at me and then demanding that the money Grandpa entrusted with me is deposited into your guys' account. That would be a start.
Well, honey, you have to understand.
Do I?
Your father and I were swindled, absolutely swindled by that old man. For years, when we asked, he would give a knowing smile and wink. We thought he was leaving us an absolute fortune. I mean, what other reason would there be for his smile? And don't even get me started on how hard your father and I tried to win his affection so that he'd give us even more money.
He was smirking because he probably found it funny.
How dare you! You don't know the inner workings of that wretched man. We worked our butts off to make sure that we won his affection because we knew it'd pay off later when he left us most of his empire. But now we weren't left for a cent? You should be more understanding of your parents' position.
I don't need to do anything. I'm as surprised as you are, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to hand over money that you didn't earn or get left within the will.
Haven't you heard a word of what I said? Your father and I spent years trying to win him over. We thought we had the advantage because we saw him more, because of how close we lived.
Can't you see how wrong that is? You were trying to win him over to get more money? That's despicable. You didn't try to get to know him more for the man that he is. Instead, all you saw when you looked at him as your future payday. He saw right through all of that. That's why he didn't leave a cent to you. And that's why I'm not giving you $1.
Oh, who's being greedy now, son? Come on, it's the least you can do. We raised you. We had to buy you food, clothes, and childcare, not to mention the power bills, the house, everything. We spent a lot of money on our little investment, and now it's time we got a bit of that return we'd hoped for.
God, you're unbelievable.
Unbelievable? The only one who's unbelievable here is you. Are you such a greedy, ungrateful brat that you won't fork over exactly what your parents are due? We didn't get anything from that mean old bastard. Instead, he handed over everything to our son, after all of our hard work. Now, enough with this. Just give us the money, and we won't kick you out of our house.
You want to what?
Yeah, you heard me. At least the one thing we could count on was this house. And if you're not willing to share your spoils of the will, then we won't share ours.
This is my childhood home. You're my parents. I absolutely love this house. This is where I grew up, and I know every square inch of this place like the back of my hand. How could you threaten to kick me out?
Oh, come on. You're a grown-up now. You can handle it, especially with your newfound wealth.
You can't kick me out of this house.
Well then, hand over the money. It's as simple as that.
I'm not giving you a cent.
Well then, your father and I will pack up your things. They'll be on the lawn when you get home.
We'll see about that. Hi, Branson, it's Harris. Why, isn't it the new millionaire? How are you doing today? Better, I hope. Maybe. I'll hopefully get better. Yeah, your parents are real pieces of work. I've seen a lot of cases in my 20 years, but I've never seen people react like that to a reading of the will. Well, in their heads, they were cheated by my grandpa. Yes, Mr. Johnson was a good man and could read people like a book. It's no surprise he was able to see your parents for who they are. I mean, no disrespect, of course. You didn't look super fond of them, and I know that you'd been spending a lot of time with Mr. Johnstone before he passed. Yeah, that's why I stayed here after college. I wanted to spend more time with him. I guess a part of me knew he didn't have much time left. I'm sorry for your loss, son. So, I assume this has to do with his funeral arrangements. We didn't get very far into the reading of the will before your parents reacted. Actually, I just wanted to double check that I heard you correctly after my parents left. About the family home? Yes. Yep, you heard correctly. Your grandpa was pretty firm in that decision. Of course, I want to see everything carried out exactly as stated in the final will and testament of Mr. Johnson. He's been a favorite client and dear friend for decades. Okay, great. I'm glad to have someone else who saw him for more than his wealth. I've been his lawyer back when he didn't have 2 dimes to rub together. You can trust me, son. Thank you. Now, I have a couple of legal questions. Have you changed your mind yet? Your mother and I are poised and ready to throw out all of your things onto the lawn. It was hard work packing up everything. Who knew you had so many things in here? Yeah, that'll happen when you've lived in the same house for 23 years. Can I just ask a question? Fine, but be quick about it. This whole ordeal is tiring to your mother and I. Why is it that you only cared about Grandpa's money? Not about me, not about Grandpa, just the money. Surely you couldn't have always been like this. How dare you? You cannot speak to us like that. You have no place to judge. No place to judge? I have every freaking right in the book to judge you. You're my parents, and even when I was a kid, you didn't care about anything except money. Hell, you even tried to make me get a job at 12? For no good reason other than that it'd be even more income for you. What kind of a parent thinks about their kid like that? Hey, that was only after it turned out you were nothing but average at school. After all the work and money we put into the programs and private schooling, you only turned out to be average. We mistakenly thought you'd be a good investment. Maybe even take over Grandpa's business, make it better, and make us even more wealthy. So, when it looked like that was a dream and nothing more, that's when we knew you'd be great for nothing other than labor. You can't blame us. You two are perhaps the worst parents in the world. That's probably why I took to Grandpa so well. He actually treated me like a person and cared for me. He was more my parent than both of you were combined. We don't know what kind of manipulation you pulled in order to get Grandpa to leave you the estate and all his money, but you had better listen to your parents and give us something. Anything at this point. Even just $100,000. It's not like you'll miss it. I think I'd rather flush that money down the toilet than give it to you. And I didn't manipulate him. I loved Grandpa and treated him just like that. My grandpa. He showed me the ropes of the business, and I read him our favorite books. I did nothing to manipulate him. If anything, all of this is your own fault. Excuse me? Yeah. If you both had been better people and actually gave a damn about your kid, then maybe I wouldn't have been as close to Grandpa. Even though I'm sure I would have been because he was a fun, kind, and caring man. Something you never got to see because you were too obsessed with his bank account. Okay, fine. You're gone. You're done. We're not even going to waste the effort of throwing your clothes and things on the lawn. They're going in the trash bin. No, we're going to set them on fire. What? You can't do that. I'm giving you one last chance. Don't kick me out. You're giving us one last chance? Ha! You don't deserve us as parents. After everything we've done for you, this is all your fault. If you'd just given us the money, then we wouldn't have to kick you out. Good luck trying to kick me out of my house. Huh? Yeah, you see, if you and Mother weren't so money obsessed, then you would have probably stayed to hear the rest of the will. What? What do you mean? Yeah, you were both so upset by the fact that Grandpa didn't leave you anything that screamed at me and stormed out. Remember that? And you missed the best part. What? What do you mean? The house. Our family house that you were so self-assured that Grandpa would leave in your name is actually in my name. What? Yep. Grandpa not only left me his money, but he also left all the property he owned in my name as well, which includes my house. So good luck kicking me out of my own house. I was going to keep quiet about it since you seemed genuinely upset about not getting any money, but after both you and Mom continued to insult Grandpa and me, well, I'm kicking you out. You can't do that. Actually, I can do whatever I please since this is my house. I made sure to ask Branson. Branson? Who in the hell is Branson? Grandpa's lawyer, or more accurately, my lawyer. And he said it's well within my rights to kick you both out. Well, you can damn well try. Your mother and I aren't moving an inch. That's fine. I actually counted on that. Which is why I'm on my way over with the police. Funny thing, did you know that Grandpa also left a lot of his valuable belongings in the care of the Police Charity Foundation? Some belongings which you stole from Grandpa? Yeah. And the police weren't too happy to hear about Grandpa's things being stolen. You know, since the police chief and Grandpa were old friends. You can't be serious. Don't do this, son. I beg of you. We're sorry. I promise we'll start to care about you. Do not do this. Like I'd ever believe you. It's too late. Now, if I were you both, I'd start running. But all of our things! We can't pack up all our things and the things we took. Our family's reputation will be ruined. No, your reputation will be ruined. I'm disowning you both from the family. Goodbye and enjoy prison. The police and I just pulled into the driveway in time to see both of my former parents trying to stuff their car full of things. Some suitcases, some belongings, but mostly the valuable things they stole from my grandpa's estate. It was quick work booking them and throwing them into jail. Although a lot of people were shocked, once the story of what they did came to light, the shock turned into distaste. John was right. This whole ordeal did ruin their reputation. It wouldn't surprise me if they had to skip town after they got out of prison. Apparently, stealing from one of the city's kindest benefactors did not bode well for the general public. Once the rest of the family arrived and heard the will, they were very understanding. Apparently, they had long given up trying to win over Grandpa for his money, and instead learned to respect the man. Grandpa sensed that, and did leave them with a little bit, most of it going to the children's education funds. I don't know what I plan to do. It seems like Grandpa had always planned on leaving me with everything from the journals I read. It seems like the only thing I can do is continue his work as a philanthropist, something my parents would absolutely hate.